At least for the state of Massachusetts. I can only speak from Massachusetts because this is where I got my license. And hey guys, what is going on? My name is DQ and I bring you videos all about the differences between the US and Germany from an American's point of view. If you are brand new to my channel, consider hitting that subscribe button because it seems like a lot of you are not yet subscribed to this channel. So today's video is going to be the differences between the German driver's license and the American driver's license. I was going to make my own video, but I actually found a video that I want to actually discuss with you guys because a lot of these things aren't necessarily true, and I see a lot of Germans think this is true for the US and they have the same assumptions and everything, but it's not true at all. There's a lot that goes into getting a driver's license in the US. Yes, we are able to get it earlier, but some of the things that a lot of you think aren't necessarily that true. So, without further ado, let's get into this video, and I will separate fact and fiction for you guys. So let's start.
Yes, when Americans go to Germany, they're in awe of the Autobahn. When Germans come to
True.
America, they're in awe too. In awe that we haven't killed each other with our lousy driving. I'm Brian Cooley with the top 5 reasons there's such a difference. The top 5 differences between U.S. and German driver's licenses. Number 5, there's a first aid course. See, we're not talking about the U.S. where being prepared means knowing how to punch the numbers 911. You need to pass a real first aid course in Germany, 8 hours of it. That's like getting an MD in Somalia. Part of the course also teaches you how to secure the accident scene. In America, we just call OnStar and start crying.
Okay, so this one is actually very, very true. In the US, you do not need to take a first aid course, and they don't teach you how to secure the accident scene. You are supposed to secure it. They teach you this in the driving school that you actually have. That will be brought up in a little bit. But we don't have the cones and the vest that you actually do in Germany. In Germany, you actually, anytime your car is pulled off on the side or it's a car accident, you're supposed to get out that little orange cones triangle thingy and put it, I think it was what, 6 meters behind the car or something? Something like that, in order to secure the zone and whatnot. In the US, you don't have to do, you have to do this, but people are just dumb and they just don't move their car or anything. In the US, if you are able to move your car, you have to move it in a way that is not blocking the highway. Obviously, if it's a really bad car accident, you can't move your vehicle, but it is actually mandatory by law to move your car over if it's just a little minor accident.
Number 4, you learn theory. U.S. driver training isn't training so much as muscle memory. German training gets into the essence of driving. There are at least 14 and possibly 20 or more hours of this theory training to get ready for a theoretical exam. And that consists of 30 multiple choice questions. But unlike here in the US, there can be multiple correct answers for each one. You need to nail them.
Okay, this is also a myth. In the US, you still have to take theory. If you want to get your driver's license at an early age, you have to take driver's education. It is non-negotiable. I am from Massachusetts, and in Massachusetts, we have to take 30 hours of classroom instruction. I'm not quite sure how much it is in Germany, but considering that we have to take 30 hours, I'm pretty sure it's kind of around the same amount in Germany. Maybe he just said it here, I'm not quite sure. But obviously in those 30 hours, you are learning everything. You are learning what all the signs mean. You are learning how fast to go. If it's a school zone, how fast you're supposed to go in that school zone. You are learning everything about driving. So this whole Americans don't have to take a driving class is absolutely false. You see here it is $320, but I'm pretty sure I paid upwards to $500 or $600 when I was actually doing my license, and I got my license about 12 years ago. So the price seems to have gone down a little bit. This could be COVID pricing, I'm not quite sure, but yeah.
Number 3, you really learn driving. You'll need a minimum of 12 90-minute on-the-road training sessions, 4 of which have to be on the Autobahn and at speed, and about 3 of those have to be at night. By the way, if you take your training in an automatic transmission, you'll only be licensed to drive that. Driving a manual with that same license is considered driving without a license. If your instructor detects that you suck, you could be in for up to 20 or even 30 of those training sessions. In the U.S., that would qualify you to fly for Southwest.
Okay. Again, this is a myth. At least for the state of Massachusetts. I can only speak for Massachusetts because this is where I got my license, and honestly, I don't have the patience to research all 50 states in America in order to know if every single state is like this. But in Massachusetts, you need 12 hours of like road lesson. So you have driving lessons. So those 12 hours can be 12 days, or you can do 30 minutes, so it can be 24 days. It literally just depends. So this is also a myth that we don't have to take these driver education classes, these road lessons and everything, because we actually do. And the same thing for us. You have to drive at night as well, and you have to drive on a highway. I think 2 hours might be on the highway at speed. You typically are more in the slower lane, and the night driving is obviously night driving. I got my license in the winter, so I think all my lessons were at night, even in parallel parking. But yeah, we really do need to take classrooms, so theory and driving tests. I paid all in all maybe around $1,000 to $1,500 US, which doesn't amount to the 2,000 euros that Germans have to pay. But I feel like a lot of that also comes in with that first aid class that Germans have to take.
2, it takes time and money. 3 to 6 months is what you need to allot to get your first driver's license in Germany. And that's not time just waiting to turn a certain age. It's real work. Unlike the U.S., you don't learn to drive by having your parents take you out to a parking lot for a couple of hours. You go to a Fahrschule, and it can easily cost you something in the region of 2,000 euros. This is real school.
Okay, so again with the whole 2,000 euros in real school, again, we do have to go to driving school here in the U.S. It is called driver's education. You can ride around with your mom and dad, so at first you get your driving permit, and then you can get your license afterwards. But driver's ed typically takes, also here in the US, 3 to 6 months. You can actually take your theory class before you get your permit. So it took me around 5 months to get my license because I started the classroom before I actually got the permit to be allowed to drive, which you are allowed to do. But even still, I think you have to wait a certain amount of time after getting your permit. You can get your license at the age of 18, but it becomes a lot more expensive because 1, you didn't take the driving class, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. So 1, your insurance is going to be higher. 2, everything you buy with the car is actually going to be higher as well. So you get a lot of benefits to actually taking these driving classes, but you can only do that over the age of 18. If you want your license before the age of 18, you have to take these driving classes. There's still a lot of people that take these driving classes over the age of 18 because of all the benefits. Their car insurance, driver's insurance, their car insurance goes down and everything. So this is a huge benefit to taking driver education. And again, it takes us 3 to 6 months.
The number one reason a German license means a little more than one in the U.S. is that a test is a test. 3 wrong answers on the German test and you fail. That's nearly twice as stringent as here in California. Fail 3 times and you have to go back to that school. Viewer Oz K wrote in and told me, when my parents lived in Germany, they said if you failed the driver written exam 3 times, they sent you for a psych evaluation to see what's wrong with you. And questions like, what is the maximum speed you're allowed to drive a truck with a permissible total mass of 3 tons?
Okay, this question is ridiculous.
1 marked lane for each direction outside built-up areas will make you seriously consider getting a bus pass instead. You also have to open the hood during your driver's test and identify for the instructor the major visible components. Where you would check the oil, how would you top up the coolant? In America, you could weld most people's hoods shut, then wait a year or 2 and see if they've noticed. High-tech cars and modern driving. That's all we do at CNET.
Okay. So what I just heard from him is that they are located in California. If you actually look at the license equivalents from California and Massachusetts, the Massachusetts license is 10 times stronger than a Californian license. It is so much stronger that in Germany, you are not allowed to transfer your Californian license to a German license. If you want to get a German license in Germany, if you're from California, you have to take the theory class, and you have to take the driving hours, and you have to take the written test. So you pretty much are starting your license from scratch if you are from California. Whereas from Massachusetts, where I'm from, I have my German license. I gave them my American license, paid 60 euros for my German license, and I got my German license. The Massachusetts license is so much stronger. And this is true all around the US. I know for a fact there's at least 20 states that have the same relationship with Germany that Massachusetts does. States like California and New York, they do not have this relationship, so they have to do everything from the beginning. And states like where I am now in North Carolina, there's certain parts. I think in North Carolina, it's either the driving hours you have to do or it's the written test. It's one or the other. And I have to agree with the test portion. In Massachusetts, I believe our test was 25 or 30 questions, and you were allowed, I think, 6 questions wrong. And I got 6 questions wrong on my test. I thought it was super easy. I got like the first 15 questions right, and then after that I got the next 6 wrong. And I was like, oh my gosh, like seriously? They were just dumb trick questions and whatnot. But I ended up passing that test on the first time. Luckily, it's not in Germany because I would have had to retake it because of the 3 questions. But the German written test, I will have to agree, is super, super long. I believe there's like 100 questions and you can choose which ones you answer, but you can only get 3 wrong. I'm not quite sure. If you're German, let me know exactly what you guys' written test is. But yeah, I hope this actually cleared up a lot of the confusion. It is state by state basis when comparing to Germany, but like I said, being from Massachusetts, a lot of things that people think about America just isn't true. We have to do the same exact things that you do in Germany, except for that first aid course. And yeah. Alright guys, I hope you got some value in this video. If you did, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Hit one of the videos on the screen right now so you can see some more differences between the US and Germany. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.